लास्ट टाइम हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे थे about the different methods for prevention and control of zoonotic diseases, or you can say simple zoonosis. We will continue with this lecture. We have discussed about the what is eradication, what is elimination, what is prevention, control. These terms we have already discussed. Then we were discussing the what are the major strategies to take control or to prevent the disease. What are the major strategies that we can adopt? We can take care of it. So in that we have discussed about 2-3 strategy. That is doing nothing is one of the strategy that the environment, I can say the uh, environment itself, they can take care of occurrence of disease like extreme weather condition, extreme cold, extreme hot condition. It themselves they disconnect the interaction between the host and the agent, or you can say the incidence of major vectors. They have they go down so that the disease does not take place. Like in case of some other extreme hot condition, the population of vectors they are reduced, so many disease they are the incidence of diseases they reduce. Second हम लोग चर्चा किए थे, we have discussed about the quarantine strategy. What is quarantine? And it depends upon the incubation period of the disease. Depending upon the incubation period, we have to decide the period of quarantine. That is the basic idea of going quarantine to prevent spread of disease any further. Then we have discussed about the test and slaughter policy. This is one of the best policy which can be adopted for control of infectious diseases. And most of the country they used to do this strategy for prevention of various diseases, like for prevention of brucellosis in United States, or for control of BSE in United Kingdom. They have adopted this strategy. They have isolated the infected animals and slaughtered them so that the source of infection should vanish, and that's why it cannot spread further to any disease, or it cannot be transmitted to any susceptible species other than that host. Like humans should not get the infection. This will, but this is a very you can say this strategy cannot be adopted in country like ours because of so many economic conditions, because we have religious taboos that we should not slaughter the cows. But still, there are some diseases where we are also implementing this strategy. Like in case of avian influenza के केस में हम लोग इस strategy को adopt करते हैं. Wherever there is an outbreak of avian influenza, we do total culling of the birds in that infected area and also in the perimeter of 3 to 5 kilometer perimeter of that area. All the birds they are killed and they are contained. So this strategy is implemented in our country in some extraordinary situation. Like in birds we can do, but in cattle we cannot do because of various religious issues. Like for brucellosis, brucella के control के लिए हम लोग this strategy is considered as the best strategy to control brucellosis. In various European countries, they have adopted test and slaughter strategy for control of brucella. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ इस strategy को adopt नहीं कर पाए हैं. So we depend upon preventive strategy for such type of disease. Like vaccination कर सकते हैं हम लोग, एक alternative इसका है कि vaccination कर सकते हैं. लेकिन vaccination से it will take a very long time to completely eradicate the disease from the population. That is the one of the issue with the vaccination. And doing complete vaccination to all animals, that is also a challenging job. So the disease cannot be removed so easily, but it can be done. So alternative टेस्ट एंड स्लॉटर का है. एक और इसमें प्रॉब्लम आती है कि अगर आपके किसी भी एनिमल पॉपुलेशन में, स्पेसिफिकली इन एनिमल्स, दिस वी आर नॉट dealing with the human population, if the disease is prevalent in more than 5% rate, अगर किसी पॉपुलेशन में 5% या 8% डिजीज प्रेवलेंट है, तो उस केस में स्लॉटर पॉलिसी इज नॉट इकोनॉमिकल. अगर किसी फार्म में 100 एनिमल में अगर 5 एनिमल या 8 एनिमल को कोई इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज है और उस केस में अगर हम चाहें कि इसको स्लॉटर कर दें, देन इट इज against the economy of that farmer. So better strategy in case of animal disease control is doing vaccination and therapeutic management. The next, that's why we are having the next strategy, vaccination. यहाँ से हम लोग नया शुरू कर रहे हैं. We have left with these strategies. So vaccination is one of the most important strategy for the control of diseases in animal and human being both. As you have heard about the vaccination, this has started from smallpox eradication program. So that the first vaccine which was developed against the pox was it was developed by Edward Jenner, was demonstrated that cowpox virus was able to prevent the disease in human beings against the smallpox. मतलब जो जिस आदमी को एक्सपोजर काउपॉक्स से हो जाता था, उसने ऐसा देखा कि इसमें स्मॉल पॉक्स नहीं होता है उस एक्सपोज्ड ग्रुप ऑफ ह्यूमन में. वहां से वैक्सीनेशन का जो कंसेप्ट है, इट वाज डेवलप्ड दैट देयर इज something which prevent the occurrence of disease, and that was the initial step towards the development of vaccine and vaccination. So it is one of the important strategy where slaughter is not possible. जैसे हमने देखा है eradication of rinderpest from India. So vaccination was the only option we have to do. In case of PPR also, we have to eradicate the disease by vaccination. We cannot go for complete slaughter of infected animals. So vaccination is the only option we have to adopt for the eradication of different diseases in animals. Humans may, this is the very important strategy for control of different infectious disease, and we have we conquered different diseases by doing mass vaccination of human population, like smallpox, like polio eradication. And there are so many diseases that we have eradicated. Sorry, we have eliminated it to a minimum level of disease occurrence in human population. So this strategic vaccination you can do by strategic vaccination. I mean to say that this is a continuous form of vaccination in population. वैसा vaccination जो हम किसी population में continuously करते आ रहे हैं, करते रहते हैं, उस तरह के vaccination को we can say it as strategic vaccination. There is another term called accident, you can say emergency vaccination. ऐसे हमें यहाँ पे मेंशन नहीं है, but there is a term called emergency vaccination. So emergency vaccination is adopted in such cases where there is urgent need of doing vaccination in susceptible population, like in present situation, present scenario of coronavirus COVID-19, there is an urgent need of doing vaccination to the human population. This type of vaccination is called emergency vaccination. We do not have any strategy to control it. We need an urgent vaccine and vaccinate people who are at more risk. Otherwise, the rest of the vaccination that we adopt for control of different diseases is called strategic vaccination. We do vaccination in the population regularly. So under strategic vaccination, there is a term called ring vaccination. So as the term indicates, ring vaccination, there is a ring. So ring is nothing. We have to vaccinate all the animal population surrounding an infected area in order to provide a buffer zone of disease free animals in order to further spread of infection. ओके, तो रिंग वैक्सीनेशन हम लोग करते हैं जिसमें मान लो देयर इज अ विलेज वेयर द डिजीज आउटब्रेक हैज टेकन प्लेस. कोई भी डिजीज आउटब्रेक हो गया, से फॉर एग्जांपल इट इज एफएमडी, तो उसके एक डिफाइंड एरिया में वी डू वैक्सीनेशन ऑफ ऑल ससेप्टेबल एनिमल्स. 3 किलोमीटर या 4 किलोमीटर एरिया का जो जितना भी गांव आएगा उस एरिया में, उन सब के susceptible animals को vaccinate कर देंगे so that the spread of disease to those susceptible animals should be minimized, should be controlled. ठीक है ना. और जब उसमें जो सराउंडिंग एरिया है उसमें अगर डिजीज नहीं होगा तो वो फर्दर भी स्प्रेड नहीं होगा. इस तरह से हम एक बफर जोन क्रिएट करते हैं. बाय डूइंग रिंग वैक्सीनेशन वी क्रिएट अ बफर पॉपुलेशन who are resistant to that particular infection, and it helps to prevent further spread of infection to other animals. That is called ring vaccination. In simple language, you can say it involves vaccination of animals surrounding an infected area to provide a circumjacent, or you can say to create a buffer area of population in order to spread the infection further. This is called ring vaccination. There is another term called barrier vaccination. So as the name itself indicates, barrier, we are giving some barrier to the population. So say for example there is an outbreak in Nepal or in some neighboring country, Bangladesh, Pakistan. In those neighboring areas where from the animals may enter into our border. So those border area animals, they should be vaccinated. Understand? अगर कोई नेपाल में अगर डिजीज का आउटब्रेक हो गया है और वी हैव अ बॉर्डर हु आर शेयरिंग विद द नेपाल, तो उस शेयरिंग बॉर्डर के जितने भी एनिमल्स होंगे, दे ऑल should be vaccinated against those diseases so that it should create a barrier against that particular disease. That is called barrier vaccination. It involves vaccination not completely circumscribing the infected area, but only the border area should be vaccinated. That is called barrier vaccination. ये particularly use होता है in case of foreign disease, a transboundary disease, जहाँ पे नेशनल इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर शेयर होता है. या हम किसी स्टेट की भी बात कर सकते हैं. अगर बिहार में अगर कोई डिजीज आउटब्रेक हुआ है तो यूपी का जो बॉर्डर है वहाँ पे दे कैन डू द वैक्सीनेशन ऑफ ऑल एनिमल्स हु मे कम इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद द एनिमल्स ऑफ बिहार. दैट इज कॉल्ड बैरियर वैक्सीनेशन. दे क्रिएट अ बैरियर. तीसरा टाइप होता है सप्रेसिव और डैम्पनिंग डाउन वैक्सीनेशन. इट मींस वी हैव टू वैक्सीनेट both the circum around the infected area and within the infected area. जिस पॉपुलेशन में इंफेक्शन हो गया है, जिस गांव में इंफेक्शन हो गया है, वहां के भी एनिमल को हम वैक्सीनेट कर दें और उसके चारों तरफ जो बफर एरिया है 3 किलोमीटर या 5 किलोमीटर का जो भी डिफाइंड है उसको भी वैक्सीनेट कर दें, so that the chance of further transmission of disease is minimized. That is called suppressive or dampening down vaccination. So after vaccination, there is another strategy we usually do it to control the disease. That is called therapeutic management or prophylactic therapy of animal. So therapeutic management, you know, if there is an outbreak of disease, we try to minimize the clinically infected animal. That is called the control strategy. किसी डिजीज से अगर बीमारी हो गई है किसी इन्फेक्शन से तो हम लोग पहले कोशिश करते हैं कि इन्फेक्टेड एनिमल के मोर्टेलिटी को कम कर दें एंड दैट कैन बी डन बाय थेरेप्यूटिक मैनेजमेंट ट्रीटमेंट करके हम लोग कर सकते हैं सो इन दैट केसेस वी कैन गिव ड्रग्स फॉर ट्रीटिंग द एनिमल so doing therapeutic management we can also prevent or control disease so prevention and control they go simultaneously by doing therapeutic ऐसा नहीं है कि therapeutic management कर रहे हैं तो सिर्फ control ही हो रहा है control हो रहा है तभी वो prevent भी होगा आगे के लिए किसी दूसरे animal को transmit नहीं करेगा it minimizes the chance of transmission if you treat an animal or in cases so therapeutic management is also a strategy for prevention and control of infectious disease then another method is or strategy you can say is restriction of movement of host. If we restrict the movement of infected animal, we can minimize the chance of or we can reduce the risk of disease transmission. Okay, that's why you see in case of COVID situation, the government has implemented lockdown to minimize the movement of human beings. को minimize कर देंगे we get minimum chance to transmit it or spread the disease any further so that is also a wonderful strategy for control of many emerging or infectious diseases in both human and animals another strategy is movement of host this is also a strategy we adopt control or prevention of certain diseases in animals. That the infected animals or the susceptible animals, not infected, the susceptible animals from an area where outbreak has taken place can be shifted to a non-infectious or you can say to a safe place. अगर किसी स्टेट में या किसी गांव में डिजीज आउटब्रेक हो गया है तो वहां के जो हेल्दी एनिमल है उसको हम दूसरी जगह शिफ्ट कर दें दिस विल आल्सो हेल्प इन प्रिवेंशन ऑफ फर्दर ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ डिजीज okay that's why we so we can do this also animal can be removed from high risk area to prevent the occurrence of new infections say for example this strategy is adopted in case of some sheep or in some goat और जैसे पहाड़ों में if there is increase in the insect population the animal population is shifted to some other safe places where the population of vectors they are less or they are absent so that is also one of the strategy that can be done to adopted to prevent further spread of disease or to control disease. Another strategy in case of animal is mixed or alternate grazing of animal. So this is especially useful in case of parasitic diseases, parasitic infestation, and this is working very nicely in control and prevention of many parasitic disease. Say for example, if we rotate the animal species on a pasture land, it can control many parasitic diseases. जैसे कि हम अगर देखें, there are certain parasite which can infect sheep, but it cannot infect cattle. So if we alternate the grazing pattern, the disease can be prevented in sheep population and in cattle population automatically because the parasitic larva or the infectious stage of larva of cattle will be engulfed by the sheep, but disease cannot occur in sheep. And in the same way, that the parasite which are found in small ruminant sheep or goat can be taken by cattle, but they do not develop inside the cattle. So in both the host, the disease occurrence can be minimized. So that is the benefit of mixed grazing, or you can say sequential grazing of two species of animals, or you can say the resistant and susceptible species of animals. जैसे किसी डिजीज के लिए शिप रेजिस्टेंट हो सकता है या किसी डिजीज के लिए गोट रेजिस्टेंट हो सकता है, दोनों को अगर हम मिक्स करके अगर हम ग्रेजिंग करवा दें तो जो रेजिस्टेंट पॉपुलेशन है उसमें अगर जाएगा पैरासाइट, इट विल नॉट डेवलप इनटू एडल्ट. सो द डिजीज can be prevented or it can be minimized by doing this practice, and this is very fruitful, this is very beneficial in control of many parasitic diseases, especially in case of goats and sheep. Another strategy is vector control. As you all know, there are so many diseases that can be spread or transmitted by vectors. So if we control the vector, we can do control the infectious diseases. So there are various ways of controlling the vectors, like we can do removal of habitat. जो जैसे मक्खी को या मच्छर को कंट्रोल करना है तो उसके हैबिटेट को remove कर देंगे. Means we can maintain cleanliness, we can maintain hygiene, sanitation in an area so that the breeding place should be destroyed. Mosquito केस में जैसे डेंगू के लिए हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, we have to minimize the breeding of dengue mosquito. डेंगू का जो मॉस्किटो होता है, they grow in fresh, you can say in stagnant water. So we try to minimize the stagnant water so that the vector can be controlled. We can use chemicals, we can use insecticides, and we can also use various biological methods of control of vectors. Like we can use certain fish which consume the larvae of insects, and they will control many vectors. So by doing the control of vector, we can also use, control the infectious disease. This is very important as far as viral disease is concerned, because many of the viral diseases, they are transmitted with the help of vectors. So if you control the vector, you can control the disease. Another is disinfection of fomites. Fomites, as you all know, that those non-living materials that helps in the transmission of disease, if they are disinfected, the transmission of disease can be prevented. A very good example today you are practicing also is COVID. In case of COVID, you are always sanitizing your hands. The purpose is to, if we get in contact with certain non-animate subject, non-animate article which may have contain the virus, it will infect you. So you try to either you sanitize your hand, your surfaces, or you can also sanitize the fomite from where you are getting the infection. You have to sanitize the working table, you have to sanitize the chairs, you have to sanitize the door handles. Likewise, you can do sanitation of or disinfection of any fomite objects. You should not share common towels, common cloths for further spread of this communicable type of diseases. So that is also a method for control and prevention of infectious diseases. Another method is niche filling, or you can also say epidemiological marker interference. So niche filling means there are for every organism there is a specific habitat for the growth of that organism. That is called niche. So the presence of one organism in a niche prevents its colonization by another. एक particular site पे कोई बैक्टीरिया ग्रो करता है, then it prevents other bacteria to grow at this site. Say for example, हम लोग consume करते हैं probiotics. You have heard about the probiotic therapy in case of diarrhea. So diarrhea में क्या होता है, अगर कोई पैथोजेनिक बैक्टीरिया है वो अगर आपके इंटेस्टाइन में जाके कॉलोनाइज कर गया है, then it will प्रोड्यूस सिम्टम, डायरिया प्रोड्यूस करेगा, डिसेंट्री करेगा, आपके इंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट को डिस्टर्ब करेगा. In that case, if we supplement probiotic, those probiotic organisms, they go inside your intestine and colonize at the same place where the pathogenic organism is present, and they remove the pathogenic organism, because at one place only one organism can grow. अगर आपके इंटेस्टाइन में एक कोई प्लेस है, वहाँ पे नॉन पैथोजेनिक बैक्टीरिया का नॉर्मल अगर हैबिटेट है, वो अगर हट गया है और वहाँ पे पैथोजेनिक ऑर्गेनिज्म आ गया है, तो आप उसको फिर से रिप्लेस कर दीजिए. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड निश फिलिंग strategy for control of disease. The purpose is we have to remove the pathogenic organism from a particular place in your body so that it cannot grow any further. That is called niche filling. The presence of one organism in a niche area prevents its pollination by another organism, because the two species cannot occupy the same area. This is in animal, we used to practice this strategy in poultry industry, where the poultry, they used to consume its fecal material also. जो उसका बेडिंग होता है, उसके जो पीसेस पोल्ट्री का होता है, उसको पोल्ट्री फिर से खाती है, एंड डिफरेंट बर्ड्स और डिफरेंट पॉपुलेशन ऑफ पोल्ट्री, दे यूज टू कंज्यूम its fecal material, and that's how they develop colony in the intestinal tract, so that pathogenic organism cannot grow, or the chances of growth of pathogenic organism is minimized. Another strategy is good husbandry practices that you all know. If your managemental practices, your nutrition quality is good, your nutritional management is good, the animal can be prevented from any infectious disease. If you avoid overcrowding, if you avoid poor diet, if you avoid stress condition or unhygienic condition at your farm, you prevent the spread of disease. That is also a strategy to prevent the spread of disease. Genetic improvement, that is also very, very important. If you select the genetically resistant animal for breeding, you can develop a resistant population. That's why rearing of animals that are genetically resistant to some specific pathogen, they help in prevention, or you can say eradication of disease. If you have a population of animals which are naturally resistant to a disease, that will help in the control or prevention of disease. Genetic improvement is also an important criteria for management of disease. There is a term called minimum, or you can say minimal disease concept, where the disease can be reduced in animals by disinfection of premises. आप अगर फार्म को साफ रखेंगे, डिसइंफेक्ट करके रखेंगे, आप उसके जो सरफेस है या उसके अदर प्रेमाइसेस है, उसके ब्रीडिंग एरिया है, सबको अगर साफ सुथरा रखेंगे, डिसइंफेक्ट करके रखेंगे, then there is minimum chances of getting the infection. That is called minimum disease concept. If you minimize the infection level at your farm or at your nearby area, you will have minimum chance of getting the disease. So that is also a strategy for control of or prevention of disease. Then another is called biosecurity. So biosecurity, it is the practice that reduces the opportunities for infectious agent to gain access or spread within a population. So biosecurity is nothing. It is a practice that prevent you from further transmission of diseases in infectious, or you can say in susceptible population. Say for example, you understand like this. अगर किसी फार्म में कोई इन्फेक्शन है, तो वहाँ बायोसिक्योरिटी मेजर आप एडॉप्ट करेंगे, जैसे कि वहाँ के एनिमल को कहीं दूसरे जगह नहीं ले जाएंगे, या वहाँ के जो प्रोडक्ट है वो उसको कहीं बाहर नहीं जाएगा वो. दैट इज कॉल्ड बायोसिक्योरिटी मेजर. मीन्स you adopt such strategy that prevent the chance of spread within the population or between the population of animal. That is called biosecurity measure. So it is also relevant to prevent infection being taken from animal farm to healthy animals. मीनिंग इसका सेम है. अगर किसी फार्म पे इन्फेक्शन हो गया है तो वहाँ पे जितने प्रिवेंशन के मेजर्स होंगे दे ऑल आर कॉल्ड बायोसिक्योरिटी मेजर्स. बायोलॉजिकल जो ऑर्गेनिज्म है उससे अपने आप को बचाना है और दूसरे एनिमल को बचाना है, उसके लिए जो भी हम मेजर लेंगे दे ऑल आर कॉल्ड बायोसिक्योरिटी मेजर्स. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल वी कैन डू डिसइंफेक्शन, वी कैन डू cleanliness, we can do better waste management, we can minimize the exposure of healthy population. That all are called biosecurity measures that we can adopt to prevent further spread of disease. And these are some of the factors that can be considered in the control and eradication of disease. Like knowledge of natural history is very important. If you know the natural history of disease, you can design its control strategy in a better way. If you know the life cycle of a disease, you can have a better strategy for its control. Host range and nature of host parasite interaction. This is also very important because there are so many viruses or there are so many parasite which has multiple hosts. So if you know the host range of an organism, you can design better strategy for its control. So knowing host range is also very important if we want to design a control and eradication strategy. Veterinary facilities, this is also very important. If you do not have a good veterinary infrastructure, you cannot go for rapid diagnosis of disease prevention and control. So that is very, very important. If you do not have good diagnostic possibility facility, you cannot go for its control. Diagnostic feasibility. If you do not have any diagnostic test against a particular disease, it is very difficult to go for its control. Like in case of COVID, initially we do not have any diagnostic test available for this disease. So until you develop a test, you cannot go for its control strategy. Because without knowing the cases, we cannot go for its control. So diagnostic feasibility is also very, very important. Early diagnosis of disease, that's why it is very important for control of the disease. Then adequate surveillance. This is also very important because what is occurring in a population, that is very important to know. If you do not know that our population is suffering with a disease, you cannot go for its control strategy. So adequate surveillance system is also very, very important factor for control of the disease. Then availability of replacement stock, that should also be that is also a fact that has to be considered because ultimately the product chain should not be broken. It should try to avoid the supply chain disruption because it is very difficult to restore the supply chain. So before going for any control strategy, any harsh control strategy, we have to think about the availability of replacement stock. That is an important factor. Then you have to take the opinion of owner and public. जिसके एनिमल को आप इरेडिकेशन के लिए वैक्सीनेट करेंगे या उसको स्लॉटर करेंगे, उस केस में you have to take opinion of your public, your owner, because without their cooperation, it is not possible to implement control strategy in animal diseases. Then public health significance. We have to decide the priority based on the public health significance. If it is very, very zoonotic in nature,